My name is Donna Swanson. I'm the Executive Director at Focus Alternative Learning Center, and we are an organization that works with kids on the autism spectrum. And we are here to do our show, Focus on Autism, to bring out different issues and let you know more about what it's like to be on the autism spectrum. I have some very good buddies here that you've met on different occasions. I'm the host or hostess, and this is my co-host,
Lucas Hofstetter. Nice to meet you all. Thank you for joining us. If you're returning from a previous show, thank you for rejoining us. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that's very, very huge, both for people on the spectrum and off, and that subject is relationships. We're going to be discussing a little bit about what we value in our relationships, how we go about them, and really how they make a difference for us, what it is that, that our relationships provide us that helps us get through life and make life richer and more positive. So without further ado, we'll...
Well, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is, very briefly, is that I see autism as a relationship disorder and a biological relationship disorder. And because of the things like processing and communication and how we perceive the world, makes it harder for us to have relationships. That's why relationships are so important. And what you will see here are people, you know, the six of us have excellent relationships with each other, and how we got to do that. And if you're working with anybody who is on the autism spectrum, developing a relationship, wouldn't you agree, Lucas, is the first and foremost?
You can't accomplish anything unless you have a positive relationship with us. That's correct.
Okay, so I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to talk with Emily and with Dan. But what are some of the things that you value are necessary? Because you do not form relationships easily.
No. My biggest problem forming relationships is that I have very big problems being able to trust others. It takes a very great deal of effort and a lot of time to earn my trust. And a single slip in that process can often come at the cost of the entire relationship. I need to be able to perceive that the person with whom I'm forming the bond is truly and sincerely interested in a bond for its own sake and doesn't have some ulterior motive, because I've gotten that a lot. It needs to be somebody that I can tell is kind, compassionate, and really honest, someone that I can trust, because trust really is like one of it is one of the most important building blocks of a relationship. You can think of a relationship as sort of like a building, and in order to construct a building, first you need to lay a foundation. That foundation would be trust and comfort. And then upon that foundation, you build the framework, which may be interactions with each other, hanging out, whatever it may be, depending on the relationship, be it a coworker, a friend, a girlfriend, a spouse. The relationship that you build upon that foundation can look anything like a cute little homely cottage to a huge castle, if you want to extend the metaphor that far. But you can't build anything on top of dry ground. You need a foundation of trust.
That's so true. Alex, you're swinging your glasses. I don't know if that's going to be a problem or not. Emily, what about for you? What do you look for in relationships?
Well, of course, I also look for the trust factor, and yeah, trust is a really big part of it, and because I'm a pretty shy person, and it's hard when you get to know me, and I automatically assume that people are out to get me, or they don't like me or something.
Where does that come from, Emily? Is that from when you were a little kid, or?
I don't know. It's just even to this day, when I don't get, like, if I say hi to people and I don't get responses back, or even if I don't, I just around and like, I don't know. I feel like it's somehow my fault that they think I'm a bad person or something. Mm-hmm. Even though, but it's just mostly due to my shyness that I don't approach others with, you know, a really big friendly hi and a big smile. Mm-hmm. And so they don't so I don't get the same back, but since I don't get that back, it makes it feel like,
It's your fault?
yeah, and I was like, but it doesn't register that it's like, wait, I'm not really saying going up to them either, but so there's like all these people these cool people that I would like to be friends with, but I'm too, it's too hard for me to just go up to them.
Which makes it easy how you met your boyfriend, right? How did that start?
I met him on the internet 8 years ago.
Not eHarmony or something like that.
Not a chat room.
Not a chat room, but on a forum that you both had interests in.
Yeah.
So you were able to connect with him via messages and typing, and that helped build a very strong friendship.
Yes.
Because it took the social anxiety out of it,
Mhm.
and he ended up being somebody that you could really trust.
Yeah.
And you have a great relationship with your mom, and how does that feel for you? Like why is that so good?
I know because she was just always she was always there looking out for me and my brother. She was a full-time mother, but that's when I say full-time, I mean it. She didn't. Raising us was her job. She needed. It was well worth. I hope she thinks it was well worth it anyway.
I know she does.
But it's just.
What you're saying too, it was a lot of work for her.
It was a lot of work, and she had to advocate a lot for us because both me and my brother are on the spectrum, and we needed accommodations, and she fought tooth and nail for us, and she's very protective, and yes, she is definitely a mother in that regard, and I love her.
Now you do have quite a few friends, more than you probably realize. There's a lot of people that look up to you at Focus and in your job that you do, but one of the things that people like about you is that you are so honest and are so kind, and since you're real, there's nothing phony about you. You're real, and I think people can see that right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're very loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're a good friend. How about you, Dan?
Okay.
What do you look for in relationships?
Someone that could understand me in general. I definitely have trouble with social anxiety, and my parents and my two sisters now have not understood that quite well. So they're very understanding when it comes to that.
Yeah, and you're also very lucky. You have parents that have been very, very supportive of you and fight hard for you, and you're actually homeschooled now.
I am. Yeah, I have been homeschooled not since after first grade, I believe.
Yep, and the reason because of your social anxiety and.
Yeah, and the school I was in was not a very good one.
They didn't understand.
They didn't really understand, so I was homeschooled after that point. And my mom was able to diagnose me with an autism spectrum.
Yeah.
But at that time, there was very few cases of autism, so the doctors weren't quite sure what I was diagnosed with.
Yep. So you have friends, and you like to go out and have fun.
I do.
But what kind of things do you look for in a friend?
Probably someone like my parents who could understand both my positive sides and a negative. Like I can't not be in a lot of social environments. Someone also who has similar interests. Someone I would have fun spending time with.
Somebody you feel comfortable
Someone
with.
Someone I feel comfortable with.
And
Yeah.
has the same like you said, had the same kind of
Interests,
interests,
yeah.
and somebody that will accept you the positives as well as the negatives.
Yes.
What could be negative about you?
Well, I'm very shy when it comes to large groups of people.
Yep. So your shyness and so do you kind of shut down in large groups?
I just try to avoid them in general. Even me and my sister's birthday parties, because we both have our birthday parties in October. I don't invite a lot of people because apart from my relatives, I really don't feel comfortable in large groups of people.
Yep. And that reminds me of something that Emily used to say when she was younger, is that she's alone but not lonely, because she'd rather have a few good relationships than to have a whole bunch of them, because they just make her more anxious.
Yeah.
Is that something you would agree with?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think that is something that Lucas said too.
Yeah, although in some cases for me it's been sort of the opposite. I have a few friends, not many, but too many gets overwhelming. I'm a quality over quantity kind of guy. And there have been cases where I haven't been alone, but I have been lonely because the people around me just didn't get me, didn't get what was going on, and didn't really understand. And for the most part, I do keep to myself. I am alone a good deal of the time, and I need a lot of that. But it does get lonely, and there's definitely that craving there for something more.
Andy, you raised your hand there.
Yeah, I actually, I'm on the same lines with Lucas, because I don't have a lot of friends, but that's because I have personally chosen to be around a small, like quality over quantity, small number of people. So.
And what do you look for in friends and girlfriends and?
Well, yeah, like the first thing is understanding. Like I think I do a pretty good job of understanding people unless they don't understand me and they don't make an effort. And then I choose. I'm not gonna. I don't want to get into too much of this, but that's where I draw the line. Is that where people do not make an effort to understand me is they're not gonna get me any part of me anymore.
They're not gonna. That doesn't work.
Right.
That doesn't work. And I think that's something that you and Lucas have in common too, is that once something doesn't work, it's very hard to come back from that. Because you're both kind of stubborn, and then you've also lost that ability to trust, right?
Yeah.
And the ability to work on it. Although I think you're getting a little better at that.
Yeah.
Andy. What do you think?
A little bit.
A little bit. What kind of things in your mom and dad and your sister? Yeah. What were some of the qualities there that they really helped you?
Yeah, like they were supportive of me as well as understanding, and throughout my whole life, like I've known that, like I've felt it genuinely. So I've always been able to reciprocate that, I guess you could say, like in every interaction with them.
So they trust you, they accept you.
Yep.
They didn't always understand you, but they tried to understand you.
Yeah, like so. I mean, I've always been able to give back to them. So.
And Alex, some of the things that you look forward to in relationships are, I know that one of the things that you've said over and over again is that if somebody is helping you, as long as they're trying, that makes a difference. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah? And so they don't actually have to help you, right? As long as they're trying?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. What else? What do you look for in a friend? You like to have friends over, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But do you like to have them sleep over?
Usually only if it's a guy, because when you get older, guys should only sleep over a guy's house, and girls should only sleep over girls' houses.
Yeah. I think that's a good rule, don't you think?
Right.
Go on.
when I have a girlfriend, and I'll have to drive her home. I have my license, that is.
Yeah, is getting your license something that you want to do?
Yeah, because I just turned 16.
Yep, you just turned 16 and now you're an intern at Focus, right?
Right.
So when one of the reasons, if you have somebody over to your house, especially if it's a girl, you're going to have to drive her home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you always say, and Lucas says this as well, is that you like it when people meet you halfway, not that you shouldn't have to do all the work to make people understand you. And that's been very important to you, Alex, that people understand you. And I know that you have said things like you like to go to Focus because people understand you and accept you just the way you are. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. What else do you like about your friends? Because you have a lot of friends at Focus, and they come to your house, right? And hang out sometimes. Do you like that?
Yes.
Yeah. And one of the things that I know that because I've been at your house when we've been hanging out, and that your friends let you do what you feel like doing, so that if you need space or, right, Andy?
Yeah.
Because you've been there with
right.
him?
Yeah, I have.
So if he needs space, what does he do?
He takes space if he feels like it, but then he comes back and he's still a part of the group, like when we're together and hanging out together.
Yeah. So we let Alex do what Alex needs to
Yeah.
do. And does it bother any of us?
No, it doesn't, because we know that he needs to take space when he has to, like, or when he feels that he needs to take space. Yeah.
So Alex, you trust us, and we trust you, and we have a wonderful relationship. You're a little worried right now, though, and maybe we should tell the audience what you're a little worried about. You got homework to do after this? Is that on your mind?
Yes.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about that, because you are such a hard worker, and I can see that you have a lot of thoughts going on in your head. One of the things he said earlier today, do you guys remember, is that when he's with his friends,
Yeah.
what did he say, Andy?
That I lost I'm not sure.
When he's with his friends, he said he doesn't obsess so much.
Oh, when he said when he's at Focus or with a friend friends in general, he doesn't have the obsessive thoughts.
Yeah, because he's just more kind of loose and
Yes.
has fun. Lucas, what else would you like to add?
Well, I think it might be a good idea to expound upon a point that Dan made a few minutes ago, and that is, when we asked you, Dan, what you value in a friend, you compared friends to your parents in what you value. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important for people to understand, because often we get questions when we do presentations as to, why don't you guys enjoy being with people your own age? Is there some reason that you prefer to be with adults? Because some of us do. I'm one that does. I don't generally prefer the company of people close to me in age. I prefer to be with and hang out with people like Donna and...
Old people like you?
Not at all what I was implying. You can read into it as much as you like, but but no. One of the many reasons for that, possibly the most common reason, is that with adults there isn't such really annoying, confusing, esoteric protocol that has to be observed when we communicate. Part of a relationship, in fact, I think a large part of a relationship is about communication. You can't maintain a relationship if the two people can't communicate with each other. And I personally find it much easier to communicate with adults and people like Donna and Emily's mom, because our families are, well, I'm very close friends of their family as well. I've often gone out to dinner with Emily's mother and been asked if we were dating or something, and
the answer was no.
No, but I was tempted to answer otherwise just to see what people would say, but that wouldn't have helped me form any new relationships. But I prefer that sort of interaction because it's easier. It's easier to understand for me, an adult, than it is for a person. And I don't know, Dan, maybe if you want to expand on that a little.
On what particular note?
Is it easier for you to be with adults than it is for people your own age, or?
No. Well, with some adults, yes, and no, it depends on the person in general. A lot of the kids at Focus I can hang out well with easier because they can understand easier what I'm trying to say. yeah, even though communications may not be completely clear at some points. So,
That's an excellent point, because one of the places that all of these guys feel safe is at Focus.
Yeah.
And it's, part of that is because there were people that are alike and people that understand you and accept you, right? And Alex, you had said in one of your letters that you're allowed to practice being a teenager, right? At Focus.
It's a safe place.
And that nobody holds it against you if you make a mistake or things like that. So that whole acceptance, that people being willing to understand you and take the time to know you, right?
As my brother says, it's a social incubator.
Yep, Emily's brother calls it a social incubator, Focus a social incubator, where you're allowed to have the time to grow and learn and make mistakes and even have meltdowns or whatever, and nobody seems to care. They seem to say, okay, how can we help? Because you guys are very kind to each other, and I think that goes a long way too. And having some similar interest, is that something that helps make relationships easier?
Perhaps Alex and Andy can speak to that, because
Yeah.
I know you guys you two love chatting about Star Wars with each other.
Yeah, so similar like for me, similar interests like are a big part of who I like to be around, like and talk, have conversations with. Yeah.
Like what are some of the interests that you and Alex have together?
Star Wars.
Is that it?
No, well, we like to talk about like other movies too, like but the Star Wars is like the whole Star Wars like movie series,
Yeah.
the cartoon series as well, like them. So.
And music.
Yeah.
You and Alex can also talk about music.
Because we're both into Tom Petty. Yep.
Yeah. Right, Alex?
Right.
What else, Lucas?
Well, Alex also shares some interest with some of the rest of us as well. Alex is a big video game
Yeah.
person, and Emily and I also are big video game people. Dan, to a degree as well, as I often see you during free time playing video games with the other guys.
guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged?
You're not on trial yet, don't worry.
Emily, what are some of the interests that you look for?
It's mostly like just similar interests as me. Like the video games mostly, I guess, because that's my #1 interest.
Yep. And art.
Yes, and art.
And music.
Yep.
And your particular interest in music is what?
Oh, it's different.
You want to share it?
Not really.
Too shy too?
Yeah.
We will accept that, correct?
I share the same interest, and it is very difficult to explain. Yes, we could use up the rest of our time on just that.
Yeah. Well, you could say what you're interested in, right?
Well, one of my main interests is that I enjoy music from the end of playing it. I have several different musical instruments. I play piano, flute, woodwind of various types, and recently I've wanted to pick up, or try anyway, to see if I can get any notes out of the guitar, but I haven't had much luck with that yet. I also enjoy video games. Sharing a similar interest with someone makes it easier to connect with them, certainly. I mean, at Focus, if you see someone else playing video games, it's a good bet that, hey, if I go start a conversation with them, we might find something we have in common. So.
Well, I think one of the obstacles that people on the spectrum do have in communicating with people is that not everybody, but some kids just want to talk, rather than have a two-way conversation. And that's something that all of us have to work on, right?
That can be a big relationship killer, yes.
And how so?
Well, and I can speak from a bit of personal experience as well, because when I was younger, I had problems with recognizing when I was doing the same thing. It's when you are having a conversation with somebody, the best way to do it, the way we think of it at Focus, is that it's a two-way street. You have an outgoing lane and an oncoming lane. And if traffic in one lane is congested and only one lane is moving, you're not really having an equal exchange, and then people feel like they're not really being involved, or like you're not interested in what they're saying. And again, a relationship is about mutuality. It's about communication between two people that hopefully provides them with some sort of fulfillment of some kind.
So if you're only in that one lane, that other person might take the next exit and get off, right? And
Couldn't
say,
have said
I'm
it
done
better.
with this conversation, right?
Could not have said it better, taken a different route. So, yes, definitely communication and equal exchange are critical in relationships.
Andy, now you have a girlfriend,
Yeah,
correct?
right.
And how did that, I don't mean how did that happen, but what kind of things are helpful about that? And what kind of obstacles were there in forming that kind of a relationship?
Well, I mean, just to talk about that, I would just say, like, if it's all right, like, you know how it happened is because she was at Focus.
Yeah.
So.
The dating capital.
But that helped. The reason I'm saying that is because it gave me the sense of like pride and but like the inner self-confidence to go, you know, and talk with her and you know, like I knew like some of the stuff that she was interested in already because Donna was telling me about it. But
you were also able to meet somebody within one of your comfort zones.
Yeah.
You didn't have to step outside a comfort zone to accomplish that, right?
Right, and also, like, you know, and by talking with her, like, just because she was at Focus and she was willing to be there, like, you know, and be with the kids like I am, like, I sort of had that common ground already, so.
And but since you've had this relationship, you've also gone out and started doing more things.
Oh, yeah,
which you hadn't
I
done
know,
before.
and I've gone to New York with her. Like,
Yeah, he went to New York. He wouldn't leave Burlington for a while, but she got him to go to New York.
Yep.
If we could say one thing about relationships, what would we want them to know? That we want to have relationships that
make us feel good. So.
Yep, and understand us, and what would you say?
And that in addition to that, sometimes as badly as we want to have relationships, our want and need for relationships comes out in ways that don't look like a want or need for a relationship, that may look like other things. So if you're working with us or giving us help or assistance, it's just important to remember to try and figure out what we need rather than look at what it looks like on the outside, get to the base cause, and then you'll be able to best understand what it is we're looking for.
And meet us halfway.
Precisely.
That's what we would like, right?
Right.
And
Yes.
and love us for who we are. All right. Take care.
Thank you for
Come
joining
again.
us.
Adios.